I found training this year to be a really big contributing factor to the actual game. So this is a highly requested video. So a lot of you have been asking, Dan, can you explain a little bit more about training? What does it mean? Do you have any tips? That's what I'm going to be for you guys today. Make sure you do hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And let's get on into it, actually explaining what training is. So training this year, of course, is a lot different in comparison to other years. Well, on the outside of things. So generally, training is the exact same, but we can actually train multiple players at the same time. One big tip and advice that I can actually give you for this is actually have multiple squads. One of the biggest downsides with this new training system, it is really time consuming. In comparison to just selecting 5 players, you're now selecting several players per a training session and you have those 3 slots. So you want to make sure you have 2 teams set up. My advice with this, of course, you can check out the perfect tip start video as well, is to actually have obviously your first team and your second string side. We'll explain that a little bit more later on in the video. Of course, that's one of the tips to actually begin with. So don't worry too much actually about training on what to actually do. It's the exact same, it's just more players. But anyway, one of the biggest contributing factors to training this year is actually player sharpness. So if you are training your players every single day, your match sharpness is going to be substantially lower, which in result means lower ratings really for the game that you're going to be playing. They're not going to last as long in their fitness or their morale is all going to be affected in the game. So you need to take that in consideration. I'm going to give you a tip right at the end of this video of actually what kind of one of the best setups is, because it works perfectly at the end. So we'll talk about that in a few moments time. So that kind of falls perfectly into the training schedule that I'm actually talking about. So one of the biggest things this year is that you can actually plan out your training schedule really easily. You can do it in the calendar or you can actually do it in the weekly calendar. So one of the biggest things with this is actually you want to level out each section and actually plan your calendar out around the games. So one of the biggest things you need to realize is actually go, right, okay, I have 3 games this week. How am I going to be training? Okay, so you want to think, right, I got my second string side, which is going to be happening, and I got my first team side. Where's my first team going to be featuring? Where's my second team going to be featuring? Once you figure that out, you can actually slot in your training sessions quite easily. You slot in your recovery days, and also you can slot in your rest days as well. So one of the biggest general rule of thumbs is actually usually the day or 2 before a game, you want to be your rest days, and the day after you want to either be a rest day or a recovery day, and then you jump into your training sessions. Of course, if you've got multiple games throughout the week, this is where the second side comes into a really good play. When you're actually doing your training sessions, you go, right, okay, so on Monday, my second side's going to be playing. So that means I can actually train my first team on Sunday, but then on Thursday, when the first team's playing again, I'll make sure they are rested on the Wednesday, but I'm actually training the second string side on that Wednesday. So you really need to take that into consideration so it doesn't actually affect your match sharpness, which really in turn affects your game quite a lot. Of course, that's just the training schedule and the general training setup. There's a few more drills and stuff which you can actually do, which are really super fun. So make sure you go check those out, but they are really super simple. But the next one is plan your development plan for players. So this is one of the biggest things to actually affect training this year. You actually have the opportunity to change the playing style of a player. If you went for the balance approach when you're actually training, you really are going to have a maximum overall opportunity to actually grow that player as quick as possible. A general overall rounded player. But one of the biggest issues with this is that sometimes the playing style doesn't suit. So if you know for a fact that you are playing a 4-3-3, for example, which is one of my favourite formations, and as an attack midfielder, I want that more of an attacking player. So I will end up changing him to more of a side attacking approach, so his attacking positioning is better, his pace, his weak foot, so on and so forth is a lot better. So when you're actually developing your plan, you want to be really considerate of going, right, okay, where do I want him to improve? If you just want max overall potential, you go for balance. However, FIFA isn't about just that. You want to make sure you find the player which is perfectly attributed for that position, and then have a balance of some players which are overall good and some players which are dedicated to that position. So that works perfectly for a starting player and a second player. If you have a second string player, think about training them in the development plan of balance, and if you have your first team player, take consideration of dedicating a particular type of playing style to them when they're actually trained. I'm going to have a tip very soon, an advice video on actually players to actually position change in the game. There's so many out there, but this is another big contributing factor to the training. So make sure you subscribe to actually so you don't miss that video. So today, the position changing is super cool. It can take up to a week, it can take up to 2 years, it can take up to a year. It's entirely up to depending where you want to switch them to. So really, with this particular new feature, position changing, you kind of want to figure out, okay, where am I weak, where am I strong for that first initial season. And also it's that understanding of going, you thinking as a manager of going, okay, can I actually afford to bring someone in, or can I just train this person to that position? So if you was training a centre-back who has really good shooting stats, for example, Vertonghen a few years ago, very good at shooting, very fast, very good at defending, you know what? He could probably be really good as a CDM or a central attack midfielder, potentially. So you have to try and weigh up those particular options for you. So I'm going to have a video out very soon on the best players to actually switch, but that particular training method is really super good. But you need to realize when you do that, you're committed for the long run. This isn't something which, like, okay, we can change every week or two. This is actually going to be something which is like, okay, I need to commit to it for a year. Now it's training sessions. So that is the new training system. If I'm truthfully honest with you guys, it looks really scary to actually begin with, but generally it's the exact same. So the biggest tips I can actually give you is make sure you've got those multiple team sheets. If you've got those multiple team sheets, which is one of my 101 advice tips, that you can actually switch from a first team to a second team, you can actually organize your training sessions so much better. So the training is actually a really good system to take advantage of. So really take into consideration what you actually do and where you place your training sessions throughout your entire season. But guys, that's it. That's really the training session and a couple of little tips to kind of help you get along the way. I'm going to have a video out very soon which is going to explain a very good training advice schedule for you guys, like the ultimate training schedule, which is going to be out very soon. So make sure you do subscribe so you do not miss that video, because it's going to be coming on this channel super soon. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and comment below what video you want to see next. But anyway, they were my tips to actually manage the training session quite well, and also just to generally understand it. But I hope you all enjoyed the new FIFA 21. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button and comment below. And if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. But anyway guys, my name is Goalazio, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Check it out.